Good morning po. So for today, didiscuss ko po ang topic na sustainable development as the second to the last part or second to the last topic ng subject na contemporary world. So this subject, the meaning of this is sustainable development can be defined as an approach to the economic development of a country without compromising with the quality of environment for future generations. In the name of economic development, the price of environmental damage is paid in the form of land degradation, soil erosion, air and water pollution, deforestation, and others. This damage may surpass the advantage of having more quality of output of goods and services. So what does sustainable development um, gives us? No, bakit natin siya kailangang i-discuss? Bakit necessary na kailangan malaman natin ano ang meron sa sustainable development? Now, as population growth increase, as human activities, economic activities increases, medyo naapektuhan ng matindi yung environment natin. So, ang concept nitong sustainable development is often the ones that is being discussed sa mga world leaders. Hindi lang yung economic growth, but of course one of the main topics that the concerns of our world leaders ay yung sustainable development, because we consider the effects of the activities, yung production, yung consumption, okay, yung effect nun sa environment natin. Now, there are 4 dimensions ng sustainable development: the society, the entire population that is living in a particular community or in a world, the environment kung saan nagkatira, saan tayo nagre-reside, yung mga environmental factors, no? The culture and the economy. So these 4 dimensions are intertwined, no? They cannot be separated. Ang sustainability kasi is thinking of the future, and the future of which the environment or the society and economic considerations wherein we are pursuing what we call the improved quality of life. So for now, probably safe pa ba yung iniinom nating water? Malinis ba ang hangin na hinihinga natin? Kasi what if hindi na, and the future generations will no longer avail kung ano yung tingin nating safe ngayon, yung pinoprovide na healthier environment, okay? Hindi lang sa food, no, and other resources. Now, it is oftentimes this subject laging meron sa mga courses, sa mga lahat ng academic requirements. It is required to have knowledge of what we call the sustainable development. Okay, we have what we call the sustainable goals or development goals. No, first is to promote kind of development that minimize environmental problems. As you observe, there are a lot of environmental problems we have experienced and observed sa paligid natin, yung paglaki ng butas ng ozone layer, pagdami ng pollutions, mga plastics, mga especially dun sa mga, kung may mga videos kayong mapapansin that yung mga isda, nakakalunok sila ng mga microplastics sa oceans, no? Yung mga wildlife natin, halimbawa yung wildfire sa California, which affects hindi lang yung mga tao, pati yung mga animals. So there are a lot of this is what we call environmental problems, and they are increasing. So we have to have this what we call sustainable development to minimize, if hindi man natin to stop, no, yung environmental, it is, I think, impossible to stop na the environmental problems because we are utilizing everything in our environment, in our nature. Pangalawang development goals natin is to meet the needs of the existing generation without compromising with the quality of environment for future generations. Now, ano ba yung mga pangangailangan natin ngayon, tayong mga taong existing ngayong panahon? Kasi if everything na pangangailangan natin ngayon ay mapunan sa magitan ng yung mga natural resources and other resources natin, if magamit natin lahat ngayon, what will be the future generations will use? And of course, kung merong future generations man, no, that will come, may enjoy pa ba nila yung na-enjoy nating magandang environment or yung healthy na environment? So these are the two sustainable development. First is to have this what we call development to decrease environmental or minimize environmental problems and to meet the needs of the existing generations without compromising the environment or the quality of life or quality of environment for future generations. Now, we have this what we call achieving sustainable development. What are the things na dapat natin gawin para ma-achieve yung goal na yon? So, meron tayong mga points to follow. First is, it can be achieved by restricting human activities, no? Remember, when Boracay, bago kay Duterte, bago yung kay paumuno ni Duterte, some of those environmental experts sinasabi na parang sobrang damage na ng Boracay. So what the government, when Duterte came as the president, he instructed, mandated that ang Boracay muna i-close. I-restrict, babawasan yung mga activities like the tourism there, even if naka at risk, no, na naapektuhan yung tourism industry sa Boracay. Pero so that maibalik, mapanatili, o hindi mapanatili, ma-reverse, kumbaga, yung dating itsura ng Boracay. So, another restricting human activities, the consumption of too much plastics, di ba? Sa Binalunan po, meron silang every Wednesday na paggamit ng paper bags, basta no plastics every Wednesday. So, yun yung mga paraan para mabawasan yung mga human activities that affects the environment. Pagsusunog, ano ba yan? Yung mga factories that emit chemicals that damages the environment and others. Technological development should be input effective and not input utilizing. So ito, yung mga syempre, pag may advanced technology na, like for example, the usage of through industrialization, gumagamit tayo ng mga technological machineries and equipments that nakagamit-gamit. Pero we have to consider that this input must be input effective, not input utilizing. Another, the rate of consumption should not surpass the rate of salvation. Kasi mas marami tayong consumption kaysa yung pag-save sa environment. The paper alone, no? Yung paggamit ng papel. Ilang trees of ang nakakat para makapag-produce ng bond paper, ng notebooks. Okay? Kasi, halimbawa, no, ang sa education, also, sa panahon before, talagang hindi naman uso ang paggamit ng paperless, no? More on talagang pag-publish ng book that will use papers. Now, the things that everyone in those promoting the sustainable development is yung planting trees. So that's what we call the salvation, no? No, parang pag-save ng environment natin, although we are consuming lots of paper products, no, and naka-compromise yung mga number of trees, but it should not surpass the rate of salvation. For renewable resources, the rate of consumption should not surpass the rate of production of renewable substitutes. So, marami tayong mga renewable energy like the wind, the solar. So, those are better, na mas maayos na, mas magandang alternative doon sa mga non-renewable resources. Yan. So it must not surpass, no, the rate of consumption of those renewable should not surpass the rate of production. All types of pollution should be minimized. Yan yung CFC, chlorofluorocarbons, no, sa mga iniimit ng mga aircons, mga and mga ref. So may mga manufacturing companies that way before, hindi na consider that you manufacture aircons without realizing it emits chlorofluorocarbons. Pero ngayon may mga companies na they consider that, so nami-minimize kasi yun ay nagdudulot sa atin ng pag-produce niya ng nakakasama sa ozone layer. So mga pollution such as yung mga usok galing sa mga sasakyan. Kaya nga meron tayo mga coding, no, traffic coding, para konti lang pero ganun pa rin, nag-i-emit pa rin ng pollution, air pollution, water pollution, what else, and other pollution that it must be, or this must be minimized, no, for us to achieve sustainable development. Last is it can be achieved by sensible use of natural resources. Since this is natural resources, it comes naturally from the environment. We have to be sensible. We have to make sure that hindi nasosobrahan. Kasi nga, it will take years again for that yung binibigyan ng natural resources natin na maibalik. And yung iba hindi na, no? Hindi na nare-renew. Okay? So, kailangan maging sensitive tayo. Although merong industrialization, nako-compromise yung natural resources natin. Okay? We have to consider these facts. Meron tayong mga examples of sustainable development. Itong mga examples na to, being suggested that this must be used, no, para ma-sustain natin kung ano yung meron ngayon at magamit ng mga future generations. Kasi if we don't have this what we call sustainable development programs and activities, paano yung future generations natin? Hindi tayo makasarili na bahala na yung mga future generation, yung mga kaapu-apuhan at anak mo one day, ano na lang ang magagamit nila. So meron tayong wind energy, solar, crop rotations, sustainable construction, efficient water fixtures, green space, and sustainable forestry. Some of these are medyo bago sa akin. Una, yung wind energy. Sa wind energy po, dito, kumbaga, yung paggamit ng wind power, okay, kung aware kayo dun sa tinatawag nating windmill, yan. Ito ay isang sustainable development wherein you convert the wind into more kagamit-gamit siya sa energy. So this is a renewable energy, yung wind energy, na you use the energy of wind to generate electricity. So with the use of wind energy, okay, nakakatulong siya. Actually, it is growing popularity. Okay, so ang wind energy, it uses the wind. Meron tayong dalawang klase ng yung tinatawag nating wind turbines, yung Houts at saka yung Vouts. Yung Houts po, yung horizontal axis wind turbines or turbines, and yung Vouts naman is vertical axis wind turbines. Yung Houts, yun yung common na ginagamit. Yung nakita nyo sa Ilocos, no? That's one example of Houts or the the Vouts pala. Houts. Yung Houts po, ang pagkakaiba niya kay Vouts, yung Houts, meron siyang 2 to 3 long thin blades, no? Parang airplane propeller, no? Yun, yung nakikita nyong sa Ilocos. And yung isa naman, yung vertical, mas shorter yung kanyang blades, mas malawak or mas maluwang yung kanyang blades. Para siyang, ang kamukha nito, yung mga blades ng Vouts ay yung mga mixer, electric mixer nyo sa kusina. Yan. So ito, ang meron existing na pinakamalaking offshore wind farm ay nasa Ireland. Okay? So ito yung tinatawag nilang Walney Extension. So Walney Extension, this wind farm is located sa Irish Sea, approximately 19 kilometers yung haba niya, or 18 miles west from the north coast of England. Okay? The Walney Extension po, so ito, it covers a massive area of 149 square kilometers. Napakahaba po nito. It is the main source of the total the energy na pinoproduce ng Walney Extension ay halos 659 megawatts of power. It supplies 600,000 homes sa United Kingdom. So ito po ang pinakamalaking wind farm sa buong mundo. Okay. Pangalawa po yung solar energy. So ito naman po ay isang sustainable development. Madami na po ang ina-adapt at ginagamit ang solar energy. Ano bang meron sa solar energy? So dito, nagka-create yung solar energy na tinatawag nating nuclear fusion, okay, na nanggagaling or from the sun. So itong fusion na to, kapag meron tayong proton of hydrogens, no, nag-collide siya sa sun, yung tinatawag nating fusion, kung saan nagka-create siya ng tinatawag nating helium atom. Sa science po ito, mga hindi ko masyadong kabisado. So, yon yung naibibigay na energy from solar, okay, ginagamit or naiko-convert natin into electricity, no, and whatsoever. Ngayon, sa solar energy po, usually meron tayong surface, no? Kung may nakikita kayong mga surface na nakabilad sa araw, yun yung ginagamit na tawag ito, materials, no? Tapos may kumbaga kino-convert yung energy na nanggaling sa sun into electricity. Now, sa solar energy po, ang advantage nito is it does not emit greenhouse gases or toxic materials. Okay? So, maigi na ang hindi nakakapag-produce ng toxic materials yung energy katulad ng solar. So, ibig sabihin, solar energy is clean. Yan. Ano pa? Of course, nakakapagpabawas siya ng consumption natin sa electricity. Okay? May mga bahay po or mga businesses na gumagamit sila ng solar panels, no, to produce electricity. So, yung mga may-ari ng mga bahay or business owners, oftentimes they sell energy back to the electric provider para mabawasan yung kanilang power bills or electric bills. May mga kilala po kami dito sa aming barangay. yung bahay nila, merong 4 na solar panel and nakakapag-generate siya ng electricity sa 3 to 4 household. And ang binabayaran na lamang nila sa panel ko ay hindi umaabot sa 1,000 because mas ginagamit sa aircon, sa TV and other mga ref yung kanilang solar panel or yung electricity na nagagaling sa solar panel. Okay. What else? Crop rotation. Ano naman po ang crop rotation? Kung sa mga may mga palayan, ang crop rotation po, it is, ang crop rotation, hindi iisang type of pananim yung itinatanim doon sa farm, okay, sa soil, no? Kung baga halimbawa, no, for today's crop season, ang tinanim ay palay. After mong ma-harvest, ay tatamnan mo siya ng iba. For example, sa iba, no, una ang tinanim mo ay corn. So after mo ma-harvest yung corn, tataniman mo siya ng beans. Kasi yung corn, nag-consume siya ng maraming nitrogen. At ngayon yung beans, i-return niya yung nitrogen sa soil. So, maigi na merong rotation. Okay? Dito kasi sa amin, before ginagawa yon, after magtanim ng palay, tinatamnan ng mais, o kaya ng sitaw, ganon. Kasi merong effect yung pagbabalik nung kailangang yung tinatawag nating nutrients sa soil na mas nagiging healthier, kumbaga, or tama, may nutrients na nakuha doon sa kapag nagpapalit ka ng itinatanim doon sa specific soil ng kaya meron tayong nitong tinatawag nating rotation. Okay? So, yung iba, wala nang ginagawang mga ganong klase ng crop rotation. Okay? It matters. Bakit importante yung crop rotation? Yun nga, una, yung it returns nutrients sa soil without using synthetic inputs. Ano pa? Increase biodiversity sa farm. Beneficial siya kasi yung mga pollinators, parang gano'n, yung mga insect. Yan. Pang ilan na? Pang-4, sustainable construction. This one, naghahanap ako ng ano dito sa sustainable construction. Wait lang po Sa sustainable construction, kumbaga, yung halimbawa, no, yung nasa Taiwan, yan. Yung nasa Taiwan na parang building doon, meron siyang bilog na malaki sa pinakagitna para pag nag-earthquake, marireduce yung impact kung magkaroon man ng damage sa environment and sa society. So, ito po, usually, yung mga kumbaga, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga new structures, okay? Doon sa pagbibuild ng mga new structures na to, nare-reduce yung energy consumption and waste. So, may mga company or construction industry na ina-adapt yung sustainable construction. Wait lang po, hanap po ako. Yung mga, for example, mga heavy machineries na ginagamit sa pag-build ng mga bridges, okay? Usually they use fossil fuels, no? Kung saan gumagamit ng mga inefficient electricity, yan. So if we have sustainable construction, no, mas marireduce yung ng konti yung emissions ng carbon dioxide and mga others. Okay. Paano ba ang sustainable construction? Usually, gumagamit ng mga sustainable materials katulad ng wood, no? They properly managing properly yung paggamit ng woods, no? Ano pa? So, pag sa sustainable construction, iniingatan yung pag accumulating woods, hindi dapat maapektuhan yung mga wildlife, no? Yung mga habitat sa wildlife. Ano pa? Alternative use of plastics and recyclables, no? I think ito hindi naman sa construction pero sa yung Adidas, meron siyang shoes, no? Na ang materials ay mga microplastics or plastics na nanggaling sa ocean sa nako-collect from the sea. Okay? At ano yon, nire-recycle at ginagawang material para gawing plastic na rubber, parang ganun, na kailangan to produce yung type of shoes ng Adidas. Okay? Alternative brick materials, yung mud, yung wool, pati cigarette butts, no? Mga cigarette butts po ay parang ginagamit actually, no? Especially itong plastics. Yan. So, ginagamit ng mga construction engineers natin how they will going to utilize plastics for sustainable construction. Okay? If you want to know more about sustainable construction, punta pa kayo dun sa British Assessment Bureau. Meron pong mga learnings about this sustainable construction. Bakit siya importante at ano yung naidudulot niya sa environment natin. Okay? Next is efficient water fixtures. Ano naman po ang meron sa efficient water fixtures? So dito, yung mga dams natin, yung mga what do you call this? Waterways, ayan. Ways, hindi ways na. Kung paano nila or paano yung mga water fixtures na may mga dams na yan. Before kasi may mga, ang dam kasi ay nagbibigay ng energy sa atin, the water energy, no? Hydroelectric power plant yan. Usually, kung saan yung like for example dito sa Pangasinan yung San Roque Dam, okay? Efficient water fixtures kung saan nagkakaroon ng mga irrigations na susuplayan ng tubig yung mga farmlands and others na nangangailangan ng water supply. Green space. Ano naman po ang green space? Ito ay mga ito yung parang nauuso ngayon sa mga parks, sa mga tawag dito. Ang green space kasi is parang open space, yung ibang term. Kung saan yung isang piece of land, development or undeveloped, no? Pag undeveloped siya, may mga walang buildings at lalagyan ng mga structures. Kung saan ang gagawin doon, partly of that space will be covered with grass, trees, shrubs, or other green vegetation. So usually, yung green space na to, katulad ng mga parks, community gardens, cemeteries, yan, schoolyards, yan, mga green space, playgrounds, public sitting areas, plazas, mga ganon. So, ang green space po, it enhances the beauty of the environment. Kumbaga, meron po niyan sa saan ba ito? Isang mall dito sa Manila. Yung sa North EDSA, dun sa may taas niya, kung mapapansin nyo dati, yun yung medyo naging, naging kilala because doon sa may parang upper part ng mall ay may green space siya. Okay. Ano pa ang may dudulot ng green space? Yan. Attractive siya sa mga sa tao. Okay? Yung mga parks na merong green grass, yung pwede kang doon maupo kaysa yung concrete or sementado lamang. Okay? May magandang impact po ito sa environment natin. No? Ayan. Ano pa? Meron pong mga green and mga projects na ginagrant ng mga companies kapag gusto nating gawing green space yung isang area or park. And another is yung sustainable forestry. What is this sustainable forestry? Ang sustainable forestry po, kumbaga, pag sinabi natin sustainable, maintaining the forest, kumbaga. Dito, sa sustainable forestry po, it is, the people are encouraged to provide, no, take care of the forest or manage the forest ng mas maayos. So, ang ginagawa dito is mini-maintain yung wildlife habitat, nagkakaroon ng mga, alam niyo, nilalagyan ng fence, inaayos yung landscape, yan. So, ang pinoprotektahan po natin sa sustainable forestry ay yung trees, smaller plants, soils, wildlife, and water. So, pinipreserve natin actually yung forest. Yan. Ang meron po sa sustainable forestry, it emphasizes the actions of people, no? People who are near doon sa forest, okay? So sila yung, kung tayo po ay malapit sa forest, no? Of course we have to give this a lot of effort na i-protect yung forest natin sa future, for the future generations use. Okay? Actually, meron po silang mga forest management, okay? But I am not particular with sa atin, mga wildlife protection. Kaya yung iba, ang pinaka-concern or pinaka-activities na ginagawa dito, yung building fences and walls na magse-separate doon sa community and doon sa forest. Okay. So that is sustainable forestry. Now, we have what we call the environmental crisis. The effects of not focusing sa sustainable development ay itong environmental crisis. Ano ba ito? It refers to a situation when an environment fails to perform its vital function of life sustenance. The environment becomes suitable as soon as the following happens. So, yung environmental crisis na to, hindi na daw ma-perform ng maayos ng environment yung kanyang function. Okay? So dito, resource extraction remains below the rate of resource generation. Generation of waste remains within the absorption capacity of the environment. So yung mga environment, yung mga waste natin, hindi na kayang i-absorb ng environment natin. Okay? Kung madalas maririnig nyo, yung inang kalikasan, kumbaga nagalit si inang kalikasan, kaya nagkabagyo, nagkalindol, and whatsoever. Now, here po, meron tayong mga reason kung bakit nangyayari ang environmental crisis. Una, population explosion. Yan. We have discussed the population growth, yung demography, global demography. Nagiging result ng pagdami ng tao, the high rate of growth of population adversely affects the environment, di ba? Sa dami ng tao, dami nagko-consume, madami nagtatapon ng basura, hindi na control yung human activity na damage or na at stake yung ating environment. It increases the demand for environmental resource, but their supply is limited. Sa economics po, the more, meron tayong tinatawag na yung needs ay unlimited, but resources are limited. So the more na mayroong pangangailangan ang tao, yung environment natin, yung environmental resources natin, limited, hindi niya kayang punan yung pangangailangan sa dumadaming number of people or population. So it increases the demand for economic resources, but their supply is limited. Halimbawa, population boom, no? Sa isang specific area, ang population niya is 1 million, kaya niya lang na sa geography, halimbawa, no, ang isang specific space, 1:1, for example, or sa isang 50 square meters na bahay, ang kanyang ratio sa tao ay 1:3. Pero dahil madami na yung tao, usually yung 50 square meters na space, hindi na 1:3, kundi 1:6, parang ganon. So madami. Hindi kayang supplyan yung pangailangan. The result is overuse and misuse of resources. Okay? Pangalawa, the rise in economic activity. Yan, yung consumption and production. Sabi natin, dahil nga maraming pangailangan yung tao, kailangan niya mag-consume pagkain, food, shelter, what are the needs na kailangan punan. And the production of goods and services. So itong mga economic activity na to, such as consumption and production, nakaka-affect sa ating environment. Halimbawa, the more trees that you cut or the more students na meron sa society natin or offices, the more trees na kailangan nating i-cut to produce paper. Okay? It generates waste that are beyond the absorptive capacity of the environment. See? Hindi na niya kaya. Kaya yung population growth at saka yung increase of economic activity, it also leads to economic crisis. What else? Yung rapid industrialization. So dito sa rapid industrialization, yung pag develop ng mga businesses, like for example, yung from agrarian land into commercial land, no? O kaya ito, like for example, deforestation, you completely remove the trees. Yan, dun sa forest, ginagawa natin siyang pagawaan ng ganito, like depletion of natural resources. It leads to contamination of water due to the accumulation of increasing quantity of toxic substances and industrial waste in the bodies of water. So halimbawa po, doon sa Malate, doon sa amin before, sa may Baywalk area, ang dami doon mga hotels, mga establishment. Their waste are often diretso sa yung kanal noon sa may ilalim, lalabas sa Baywalk, sa Manila Bay. Okay? So kaya nagkaroon na sobrang toxic yung water mismo dun sa may Manila Bay. Kaya yung ginawa ng DNR and the local government of Manila of making that dolomite, making renewing kung ano yung itsura ng Baywalk ngayon, ay maayos na sustainable development. Okay? Next is urbanization. Okay? Yung migration ng tao from rural areas to urban areas results in the fast growth of slum areas, no? Ito po ay a picture of the Tokyo, the populous city in the world. It leads to excess burden of the existing infrastructure activities. Kung mapapansin nyo, no? The more na matao sa isang city, kailangan niya ng spaces for tirahan. I remember, ang mga bahay sa Maynila hindi pa haba. Yung mga, surely sa may squatter part. Pataas, no? Horizontal, vertical. Ilang palapag, 5. Tapos hindi siya ganun kaluwang, kundi yung height. Now, ito yung mga major cities sa mundo. Tokyo, ang kanyang population ay 37 million. In New Delhi, 30 million. Shanghai, San Paulo, Mexico City, Dhaka, okay. Cairo, Egypt, Beijing, nadoble lang po, and Osaka, Japan. So itong mga major cities sa mundo na to, the number of people that lives here, actually, hindi naman yan mga taga-city talaga. They move to cities because there are opportunities and a lot of parang mas magandang standard of living sa cities. Nakaka-apekto po ito sa environmental crisis natin. Yung spaces, the pollution, ayan. Deforestation, yung katulad ng sinabi natin kanina, it refers to cutting down of trees, clearing the forest, making it something to be useful as halimbawa no manufacturing area. Meron po kami dito, parang isang lugar dito na dati mapuno siya. Tapos ginawang ginawang warehouse ng mga construction materials. Yan. Ang adverse effect nito, of course, no, pag wala ng trees, alam niyo, effect, flood, and whatsoever. Increase of use of insecticides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers. So, yung mga farmers natin, no, if they use insecticides, pesticides, and chemical fertilizers, nagdudulot ito ng health problems, no? Kasi poisonous actually yan. Hindi lang sa mga insects, pati sa mga gumagamit. May mga nakikita akong farmers, they even do not use mask, face mask, while having these fertilizers sa kanilang farm. The crop generated also contains chemical elements in it. Kapag daw hindi inuud yung talong or okra or yung papaya, kamatis, ibig sabihin daw, yun ay nalagyan ng insecticides or pesticides. No? So, mas better na pag may nakita kang, pag namamalengke ka at nakita mong merong gumagapang na worm doon sa gulay. Ibig sabihin, safe ito sa insecticides and pesticides. Now, there are a lot of discussions pa with sa sustainable development. And ito lamang po ay discussion ko, maliit na discussion sa sustainable development. And I hope that you learn something from this, realizing the importance of economic activities, production, consumption, the things that you should do, no? Yung mga bagay na as being student, no? Bilang estudyante, kaya mo bang sumali para magkaroon, ano yung may iaambag natin sa sustainable development goals? Makapag-promote ka ng development, na makapag-minimize ng environmental problems, because we don't want to experience environmental crisis. Actually, because of the pandemic, no, the shutdown of parks, of malls and others, no, na at least na-heal ng bahagya yung environment natin. Nung kasagsagan ng lockdown, may 2020, some observed that the sky is very blue. Yan. Hindi masyadong nag-emit ng mga pollution yung tao at yung environment. That ends our discussion sa sustainable development. Please make sure to watch this, and meron pa tayong additional na discussion, which is the global poverty. So make sure po na mapanood nyo yung video, and make sure din na matuto kayo sa mga discussions natin. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye!